So this is the book we're going to look at now. This is Thomas Anderson's mistitled Tanks of the Second World War. The reason it's mistitled, I'm going to deal with this issue straight away. It's a nice looking book and there's lots to recommend it. I just want to point out the strange title. So here we are looking at the contents. It actually goes from the birth of tanks during the First World War through the interwar period. And then the largest chapter is Tanks in Action in the 1930s, which is in itself a mistitled chapter because it goes through the Second World War. Then the final chapter is called The Long Road to the Main Battle Tank, and that is about the development of tanks through the 1960s. So you've got a book which is about tank design, development, and a little bit of use from 1915 to the 1960s, and yet it is called Tanks of the Second World War. I don't know why that is. So this is a translation of a German book. Thomas Anderson is German. The original English translation came out in 2017. This is a 2020 version of that. It's a soft cover, a cheaper version. The list prices on the cover are £19 UK sterling, 25 US dollars. It's quite a thick book and the quality of the paper is very good. I'll give you the page count. It's just over 200 pages of main body text. It's a reasonably large format, A4 format. It has a lot of photographs in it. It makes use of the good quality paper. Essentially, it's a good picture book on tanks with a lot of good data. So you see the data on tanks, the specifications is often tabulated as here. The criticism I have of it is in the translation. The translation is very awkward. Here's another example. This is really the first page of main body text. This requires a look at individual tanks both in isolation and in comparison. Reducing particular tanks to their theoretical values is only part of the story. For important influences of scale, such as the quality of strategic and tactical command, technical reliability, or essential parameters, including the types of ammunition, fuel and spare parts, have to be left aside. It's just awkward, and that's a reasonably good example. There are some really strange language in here, which you have to read a couple times to get a sense of what's really being meant. You're going to dip in and out of this book, I think. I don't think you want to read it from start to finish. You want to dip in and out of the parts you like, the eras and the particular tanks you like. And this is where we can praise the book. So it's certainly comprehensive. And it's also nice to have a German perspective in the English language. It includes rarer tanks. So this is a section on French tanks. It includes rarer tanks from all the nations. It does well on Polish tanks, as in this case, Czech tanks, Italian tanks, as here. It is comprehensive. This is a nice looking book. It is genuinely comprehensive. And the other nice thing about it, worth noting, is the originality of the photographs. So a lot of these photographs are credited to Thomas Anderson himself, and he has taken the trouble to source a lot of the other photographs from friends, particularly in Germany. So these photographs are generally ones you have not seen in English language books before, and that is very pleasing. As a picture book, it's excellent. If you just want a picture book surveying tanks from the First World War to the beginning of the Cold War, this is highly recommended. If you want a good read, not so much. If you want data, I agree, this is a good book. If you want explanations of development and requirement choices and how tanks were used, not so much. But this format, the 2020 format, is a cheap format for what you get. It's a thick book. There's an awful lot of photographs in here. It's more than 200 pages. I would say there's 275 photographs to go in here, and you're getting it for 19 UK sterling or 25 US dollars. So for that, recommended.